another ESPN personality joining us live on BYU Sports Nation. He'll call the basketball game between San Francisco and BYU tonight at the Marriott Center is Roxy Bernstein. Roxy, welcome to BYU Sports Nation.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We appreciate you joining us while you travel here to the Marriott Center. What's your favorite part about calling a game at the Marriott Center, Roxy?
I love the crowd. The energy that's there is always, you can feel it. It's palpable. It's electric every time I've done a game here. And now the only previous game that I've had in Provo this year was the Utah game, which certainly everything boiled over, and it was just an incredible environment. And that's what's fun to me, is when you get environments like that, people who are so invested and care and bring that energy. That's what I think makes a great college basketball environment. That's what BYU fans are lucky to see on a nightly basis.
And it should be interesting tonight, given the fact that, one, it's a 9 p.m. local tip, and that, two, BYU's in an interesting spot. How would you describe where BYU's at right now as they try and get into the NCAA tournament?
I think they're in a tough spot because they've had some opportunities. Certainly the loss against San Diego will not help them. They need to finish strong. I think here in the back half of the WCC, it's going to be hard to win at the Kennel, but I think that's something they may have to do, or at least make a deep tournament run in the WCC tournament, because the opportunities, they played a challenging schedule, but they really haven't had those big wins. Like at Stanford that was a good win. But Utah, the way that game, it went to the end of the game, and they came up short, and unfortunately that's the game where Nate Austin got hurt. And I think that's been a big part of why they have struggled this year. Their perimeters, I'll put their perimeter up against anybody in college basketball. The way those guys can score, the way they can pass, all the things that they can do, it's the inside play that's been the question mark. And that's something for me, guys, that has to get shored up here. And hopefully at some point they will get Austin back.
Roxy Bernstein of ESPN, play-by-play specialist on BYU Sports Nation. Roxy, from what you've seen from BYU this year, the peaks and the valleys, do you think that they can become an NCAA tournament team and make a solid run in the back half of WCC play?
I do think the potential is there when you look at, first off, the way they can score the ball. And they lead the country in scoring. Nobody, I don't think, is a better offensive team in college basketball than BYU. But it's the other end of the floor, and that's where I really think they've missed Austin. Because look, he's not going to give you 10, 12 points a night. That's not what he's going to provide. He's going to provide that physical play inside. He's going to take up space. He's going to block shots. He's going to rebound. He's going to do the dirty work. And I think that's what the team is missing. When you have young guys like Worthington, Kafusi, they really haven't figured things out yet. That's why, for me, it's imperative. If they're going to make a run, if they're going to get to the tournament, I think Austin could be a big key to that.
The great question to me is, how many bids does the WCC end up with? And I think the answer is 2. And BYU is going to have to beat out St. Mary's somehow for that second. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a 2-bid league this year. Earlier on, I was thinking it was going to be a 3-bid league with all 3 of those teams having a chance to get there. And certainly Gonzaga is going to be there. And it could come down to that game when St. Mary's comes to Provo and plays at the Marriott Center for that game, and maybe if they hook up in the semifinals, the WCC tournament in Las Vegas. Those are the 2 games that I think are imperative for BYU to get, especially considering St. Mary's squeaked one out against BYU a couple of weeks ago in Moraga.
Roxy Bernstein of ESPN with us on BYU Sports Nation. You've had a good chance to watch Tyler Haws play and Kyle Collinsworth. You called one of KC's triple-doubles. So who has been more impressive, Tyler Haws or Kyle Collinsworth?
Boy, that's a tough question. Wow. For me, look, Haws is such a gifted scorer. He really is. And the things that he can do. And it's not necessarily about the three-point shot with him. Yes, he shoots it well. But his mid-range game, the creativity that he has offensively, the way he is able to get shots off when it barely even touches his hands. He's coming off the screen. But what Kyle Collinsworth does, I don't know if look, he's as valuable to BYU as I think any player is just about in college basketball to their team. It's the intangibles. It's not just what he does. Okay, he provides some scoring, but rebounding, assists, steals, the way he runs the club, and a miraculous comeback from the ACL injury and how quickly he did it. and how the form that he has gotten back into. And look, tying an NCAA record with 4 triple-doubles, and he still has an opportunity to break that, and maybe he could do it tonight, but what he has done is remarkable. So if you're going to put me on the spot and make me pick one of the two, to me, it's Collinsworth.
It was a cruel question. I know. But you did the right thing. You took a side. Had you ever...
Are you guys divided on that?
That's tough.
Pass.
Yeah, yes, seriously. Pass.
I don't even want
Which
to
is
answer
what
that question.
Collinsworth does. He passes.
I got to put it back on you guys. After you put me on the spot, now I got to line you guys up.
I tend to sometimes take Tyler Haws' side just because I feel like he goes underappreciated. What he's done in terms of averaging 20-plus points a game for the last 3 years is unbelievable. And tonight Roxy, you could call a game where Tyler Haws passes Danny Ainge for second points and Kyle Collinsworth sets the NCAA record in triple doubles. This is going to be awesome tonight, maybe.
We could have a record-setting night. That should get the crowd even more into a fervor tonight. Get them out there to the Marriott Center for the 9 o'clock start.
Regarding triple doubles, can you tell a guy has a triple double when you call it without the stat sheet?
You don't necessarily know, but you get a sense. And like when I was calling that game at Pacific, where Collinsworth had the triple-double, we got the sense, all right, because I think I'm a little different than most play-by-play guys where I'm keeping a running individual tally of some stuff. A lot of guys won't necessarily do that, but I'm pretty locked in, and it keeps me focused and engaged in the game. So I knew, okay, point total was already there. And I knew he had a large number of rebounds in the first half. I want to say he had like 6 or 7, so I was really aware of that. And so you kind of just make a mental note, and you know his ability to get triple-doubles. So it's something that I was focused on going into the game, and so I was aware of what was going on just because that was one of the things that I was channeling to make sure I was on top of that.
Roxy, Bernstein will call the game tonight between BYU and San Francisco on ESPNU, 11 Eastern, 9 p.m. Mountain Time local tip. Roxy, when you look at the WCC, you see Gonzaga, St. Mary's, BYU as the top 3 teams right now.
And Pepperdine, Santa Clara.
And then there's Pepperdine, Santa Clara, and just a mix of teams at the bottom. LMU just beat San Francisco. San Francisco just beat Pepperdine. Who's going to be the 4th team in your mind when all is said and done at the end of WCC play?
Who is going to be or who should be?
Okay, both.
Yes.
See? Okay, who should be? To me, when I look at these teams, and I think the injury that Portland suffered with Barker was a big hurt to Eric Reveno's team. They could have been that team to be the 4th team. And I think Alec Wintering is playing great. I think they have potential to be there. When you look at what Marty Wilson and Pepperdine have done, and they had the win at Provo earlier this year, which I think opened a lot of eyes. Stacey Davis, the way he's playing, is impressive. But to me, I look at the San Francisco team, and the majority of this group went to the postseason. They were in the NIT last year. They have some pieces. When you look at what Chris Pinkins can do, Tim Dirksen plays hard, Mark Tollefson. To me, this should be the team that comes in 4th in the WCC.
Interesting, and that is the team that BYU will host tonight at the Marriott Center. You can listen to Roxy Bernstein and see him on ESPNU, 11 Eastern, 9 Mountain Time. Roxy, we appreciate the time. Great to talk to you.
Or you could always just turn me down and pop up Greg Revelle, which I know he'd appreciate.
Whatever they choose.
Whatever the people want.
We love it all. All right, Roxy, thanks for the time.
You got it, guys. Thanks.